Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. This is the starter guide for Jenet, Bone Jenet in Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. And in these kind of guides, we're going to be covering a lot of different topics, both, more beginner focused, what the character is all about, and also just more advanced setups as well. So there will be timestamps all throughout this video, so you can skip forward to whatever makes sense for you. Now that said, if you're going to use timestamps, hey, leave a like. It does sincerely help the video. And before we get into, well, just about everything else in the video, let's start with why do you want to pick Jenet anyways? What's the appeal? So now, why pick Jenet? What are the pros and cons of Jenet? So number one out of the gate, to be all the way real, I know the first two reasons you're picking Jenet. Call for what it is. There's no shame in it, but of course, you actually want to learn to play the character too, right? So let's talk about that. So Jenet's a really good, strong grab bag of abilities, although she's definitely more leaning on the rushdown end of things. So she has a proper projectile, which is great. She can compete and can contest the screen at, non-rushdown distances, although she's not exactly going to be winning any zoning wars anytime soon. The thing is, she has a very unique offense you're not really going to find in anyone else. It's all her. And that's the fact that she has more effective jumps than everyone else. So there's the regular jump, there's hops, there's also dash jumps as well. So everyone has three kinds of jumps, except thanks to her moves and the fact you can break her moves, she has more effective kinds of jumps than everyone else. So she can effectively have like a hop that's better than the regular hop if you're willing to spend some of your rev gauge, or a jump that's basically like a super jump that no one else gets because you're manipulating her base special moves and it gives you different air angles. So her ability to just jump into the air and do stuff is better than everyone else in the game. She has really good just general pressure too. The fact that her basic throw gives fantastic Oki. The fact that she can also maintain basically plus frames on demand. She has some of the easiest big combos in the game because her combo structure is so easy because she's blessed with Stand Light Punch, which is incredible because it has so much range, so you can convert off basically anything from almost any distance when it comes to lights. And then she has the two-hitting heavy punch target combo, which makes just general hit confirms and anything with combo structure just so easy. Once you land the hit, it's very easy to assess, do I have the hit or do I have the block? Do I got to keep going or do I not keep going? All that usual stuff of offense is very easy when it comes to Jenet. She's very blessed in that regard. So she's very blessed when it comes to just general offense and rushdown. The thing though is she doesn't have this stock reversal, so no easy meterless options. She obviously has metered supers that will get you invincibility frames. She has a counter now that is new to this game, but counters aren't always as reliable, although it has some unique strengths attached to it, so that is nice. While her normals certainly are not weak by any stretch, she neither has dominant neutral normals like some other characters. Once again, she is rush down line. She wants to get in there, right? Not just play footsies all day long. And also, when it comes to the rev gauge, she is very rev gauge hungry. So for her, SPG placement is actually more of a factor. You will probably want to place it down further down the life bar so you can get those discounts on the rev gauge for Rev Excel cancel combos. Because if you have it in the beginning part of your life, that's all well and good. You'll have access to the Rev Blow, by the way, and her Rev Blow is proficient. But you don't get any discounts when you do longer combos. She will be doing longer combos. So maybe, either in the middle of your life or at the end of your life, just so you can get some of those discounts. Because she has a combo structure and pressure structure that will let you go through the stuff real fast. But basically, if you just like to get in there, attack, and be a bit tricky when it comes to stuff like jump angles and being able to hit people in weird angles you don't think normally would otherwise be possible, she's great at it, fantastic at it. She is, in a lot of ways, the queen of the air in this game. Because, once again, she has, 5 effective jumps instead of the usual 3. And that all said, now let's just talk about her moveset and how it works. Now, let's talk the moveset, and our first move, let's talk Baffles. This is her projectile. So the thing out of the gate here, you might notice it is lower to the ground. That's an SNK style thing, and it is multiple hits. Now, don't get it confused with other fighting games. Just because it's multiple hits doesn't mean it wins trades with regular projectiles. All the hits will go away, it's just a one-off. If you want to win the trade, you got to do an enhanced version of the move. So it doesn't win that way. It's actually a downside specifically. She isn't meant to be like a hard projectile zoner. It's good to have the tool, don't get me wrong, right? But because it's multiple hits, that means it can be hyper defended, or it can be just defended 3 times for extra life gain. Like, it's not a benefit to have multiple hits in this game. But still, it's good, it's there. That's the heavy version that goes full screen, by the way. The light version does not, as you can tell, but it's very useful in a lot of ways, which we'll cover later. Not the least of which is it's amazing on people's wake-ups, as it's very active, as in it's on the screen for a long time, and if they wake up into it, you're going to have incredible advantage frames, and from there, you know, you're a rushdown character, mix them up, do some pressure, go crazy. And the enhanced version, well, it's about what you think, right? If you need to win a projectile war, it's a good way to do it. It does have a very interesting property, though, and this is one that definitively helps her rushdown game. So, you know, from further away, okay, whatever, advantage on block. But notice Mai is moving closer, not moving further away. She's moving closer every time this happens. So if we were just to toss this out here, we're plus in the opponent's face. Like, it'll bring them into us, and we can keep those advantage frames. And now, like, okay, am I going to poke you? Am I going to try to throw you? Like, what am I going to do? I don't know. You kind of got to guess, right? And the multiple hits plays out very fast, so it's harder to, you know, just do things like hyper defend, all that. So it's just very strong pressure, and we'll cover it later. But specifically, since it moves you forward, it will take you out of the corner. Normally, in this game, if you jump at people in the corner, you can't take their corner, right? But since it slightly puts them out, here you can. So basically, it's just a solid projectile tool. It's not going to win the game by itself, but it is certainly nice to have for sure. Next up is Crazy Ivan, and this is quarter circle back and when you're 2 punches, and she'll basically take a swing at you with her dress at different ranges. So the light version does not have too much range, but it's always pretty much safe. So even -4 at point blank, because there's no close normals, because you're just pushed out a little bit, it's safe. You're good to go for the most part. The heavy version though has got some range to it. We talked earlier in pros and cons, like her normals are all right, but they're not amazing. This gives you some actual range to contest in neutral. Like, people have to respect this to a degree, especially because it has an incredibly nasty counter hit attached to it. So if I catch you hitting a button, oh. So basically, needless to say, like, you are going for the ride on this one, right? Depending on how much meter, how much resources you have to burn, you can get a lot of damage in off a simple counter hit from a very long range poke, and that's what makes it valuable. It's basically her best mid-screen tool. Now, when it comes to the enhanced version, however, so the enhanced version, like the regular heavy version, has quite a bit of range attached to it, as you can see. It can hit from very far away, but she's not really able to do much off of it unless you just want to really roll the dice on like a risky hit confirm. It is safer on block, for sure. It's only -4 compared to the heavy version being -6, which can be punishable if you're a little too close. But the main reason for the enhanced version is just basically combo fodder, right? Which is perfectly fair. The heavy version mostly stands on its own as a standalone poke. The light version also does combo from light punch, which we'll talk about more later. But yeah, it's just a solid neutral tool for the most part, and if you want to use enhanced version, mostly combo fodder. Now, Gulf Tomahawk. Let's go back on your kicks. This is one of your most important moves, and funnily enough, very little for the move itself. So, before we get into it, so light kick version is a big old stomp. I know it looks like an overhead. These moves do look like they're overheads. They are not overheads, FYI. So you can crouch block these. The heavy version, much more pronounced startup, as you can tell. This is always going to be advantage on block. So if it is blocked, you know, you'd rather it hit, but you're going to be +2, so that's not too bad. The enhanced version, also here, this will be -6, FYI, because that's the really strong combo one. Quick note, against a standing enemy, it combos twice. Against a crouching enemy, it'll only hit once. But don't worry, because there's ways to force standing that are very easy in this game for Jenny. So the thing that really makes the move, though, is not so much the actual attack itself. Like, you know, the enhanced version is great for combos and stuff because it causes like a ground bounce. Like, that's fantastic. But the fact that you can break all versions of the move. So, like right here, the light version, if I break it, nothing comes out. There is no attack. So say if you're expecting that stomp, I can break it and then throw you, or like go for like whatever I want to do, right? Now it's a very low to the ground. So, well, it's tricky in that way by itself, but the heavy version, since it's higher on the ground and you recover, it basically gives you back your air action. So it basically becomes another kind of jump. And I could jump in with, say, a light kick. I can jump in with a heavy attack. I could, like, basically whatever I want to do. It's basically another kind of jump. It's the kind of jump that moves you forward further faster than your base dash jump will. And because it's a special move, that's special cancelable. I can do it while you're blocking. And suffice it to say, it's tricky. Am I going to go for the attack? Maybe I will do that empty jump and go for, you know, a throw. Maybe I just hit you with a cross up. There's a lot of things I can do because I'm canceling out, and basically I get to jump while I'm attacking you because it's a special cancelable move and it's another kind of jump. It's a huge part of our offense to be able to cancel this early and just turn it into a various kind of air attack. This is where the enhanced version comes back into play because it's lower to the ground like the light kick version, but it gives you the air action right away. So basically, I can attack you faster off a jump, because I'm canceling the move, than I could off my hop, which is my fastest normal jump. So it gives her basically the fastest jumping offense in the game. So you have to worry about an air attack very quick. So if you're asleep at the wheel for even a split second, right? If you didn't immediately stand up in reaction to that, you got hit by the overhead, and then boom, it's combo time. And of course, like before, I don't have to commit to the jump. I can if I want to, and it's definitely scary, but I can just empty jump it, or empty break it rather. And from there, hey, I can go for that throw. I can go for low. Like, I can do whatever I want to do, right? And once again, it's special cancelable, so I can do all this while you're blocking my strings. So all this new layer of air offense is at the core of what the character is. This is kind of her most important move in a lot of ways, because it gives her options in the air other characters just don't get. It's very layered, very important. Now the Hind. So Hind is very important just for general combo starters. It's a big old knee followed by her just kind of whipping her dress up to you, knock you into the air. Now, before we get into it, one thing to note, this move is air invulnerable. So she does not have a proper, uppercut style move, but this move is invulnerable against all jump attacks specifically. So if someone's just jumping at you a lot, like, she doesn't have a lot of great options, but this is one of them because this will always be an air attack. That said, specifically focus on the light kick version. The heavy kick version is slower, and they'll usually like land and be able to block in time, and that's not good for you. Versus the light kick version is quick enough to smoke them out of the air. But now for combos. So the light kick version combos off lights. That kind of writes itself, right? And the heavy kick version will combo off heavies. And the thing with the heavy kick version, this is break cancelable, so you can get the launch without having to do the follow-up. And of course, from there, you can do more advanced combos, as you would expect, right? And just, well, combo out from there. And that's about the long and short of it. It's really good combo fodder. The enhanced version, naturally, also break cancelable. Launches higher than the regular heavy version. And of course does a bit more damage, and also because you can go into Harrier right away after the fact because RefXL cancels. It's just combo stuff. It's really good combo stuff. This is one of your main go-to combo moves. Also, a good thing to note, the enhanced version, it's breakable naturally, and if you break it, it is +1 on block. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, there's a little bit of a tell. The second hit has to happen in a kind of obvious way that could be hyper defended, but it is there. Next up is the Harrier. It's a very interesting move and very unique part of her moveset. So you jump and just hit down and kick. And down and light kick, you'll kind of hop up a little bit. Down and heavy kick will just go right down. And the enhanced version will also go right down. The enhanced version you can do from a back jump. You can't do it from a back jump from the other ones. But it's good just because you can just jump backwards, see something happening, and run in. Because it's your dive kick in a way. Also, real quick to note, it is able to be done from a back dash because it technically leaves you airborne for a moment. So if you're just looking for a quick way to get in, well, that's the way to do it. So one thing to note here, real quick, as a dive kick-ish style move, this is not an overhead. You can block it while crouching, just FYI. The light version, it's just another good way to manipulate your jumps because you can jump, then basically like almost double jump and then go for the moves. You can also do it off a golf tomahawk jump as well, like if you break cancel it, so it's interesting. But yeah, it's just basically just a way to snag people. The thing about the attacks themselves, you better hope it hits. It is not terribly forgiving on block. You can get all the hits you want in, you're gonna be very negative. Like, no matter what, you're gonna be negative. Like, so you just gotta watch out. The one thing that's nice though, the enhanced version is pretty much always gonna be plus on block. So the main use, other than trying to avoid like a very obvious anti-air, is either basically as a gotcha off that, you know, failed anti-air, or you're gonna burn bar and take plus frames or get a combo off of it. It's gonna be combo fodder a lot of the time, but it is useful in its own way, and at minimum, it is always gonna be baby's first plus frames off the backdash. So our last special move is Secret Mademoiselle. This is her new counter attack. This is new for this game. And it's very interesting. She's not a character with strong defensive properties, and adding a counter helps a lot. So she'll take a pose, and if you hit her during the pose, you get just kind of smoked by her rump. And that's basically how that works. So how this works is, as you can see here, counter hit, right? The regular version is not what we would call frame 1. It goes active very early into the move, but doesn't happen on the first possible frame. So if you're like knocked down using it to defend yourself, it's not terribly good in that way. It can defeat jumps, so it will defeat overheads, but it will not defeat lows. So it only basically works on mids and overheads, just FYI. Now, the enhanced version is a bit better, but also keep in mind, this also isn't frame 1 either. So you do gotta like time this stuff out. It's just not gonna happen magically. It's not a be-all, end-all defensive option. The thing about the enhanced version, though, is you can get the attack even without the counter. This is great for her combo structure because the attack actually has huge damage. It does 140 by itself, which is a lot more than her other enhanced moves, actually. So when it comes to combo structure, like this is your single most valuable move in terms of damage. So you want to get it, for the most part, with some exceptions, earlier on in a combo. So it's good if you do have the read, right? If you do have the read on him, like it's still a counter. It still works fantastically in that way. For combo structure, the enhanced version is very interesting. It's still decent as a defensive move for a character traditionally does not have amazing defense. But once again, it is not exactly the same as having an uppercut, unfortunately. But you take what you can get. Now on to her super move. So not too much to discuss, to be honest with you. First, we have many torpedoes. So this is the punch super, and this is quick, and this is also invincible. Frame 1 on a level 1. So if you're looking to get out of a bad situation because we don't have an uppercut style move, this is it. Also, it will easily juggle from many of your combo starters. So regardless of what you're aiming for, if you get that combo, it's just an easy way to go about it, right? Like, okay, got it, good to go. Naturally, the level 2 version has the cinematic, does more damage, like what you would expect, right? There is the other super, Aurora. So Aurora does more damage than many torpedoes, but it is much more limited in the range department. So whereas many torpedoes would easily hit here, that you go flying off the screen and you're gonna die when you land, basically. Not as good. Now, if you have the corner or if you have a different combo routing, this will work out great. Once again, it's just basically more damage. It's just a question of, do you want utility or do you want the damage? If you can get more damage, generally go for it. It'll work out in your favor. But a lot of times, a lot of combos, that's just not going to be realistic. So we have to do with what we got to work with, right? And of course, there is the hidden gear. So the hidden gear, I guess the one thing I would say is the range has a bit more range than you would think, but not a lot of range. Keep that in mind. Otherwise, it's kind of standard fodder. You're in your SPG. This is your most damaging possible move, but you can only do it sometimes. And if you can get it, it's definitely going to help shape the course of the match because it does a lot of damage and will completely empty out your rev gauge no matter how full it is, like every other hidden gear. So if it's an option on the table at the moment, you might as well. Otherwise, it's not that big of a deal. Now to talk notable normals. So out of the gate, before anything else, let's talk some of the command normals and the target combos. So she has forward and light kick, and this is basically a dive kick. And unlike some of the other stuff in the game, you can do it just fine from a jump back. And also you can do it from a backdash as well. So the thing with the drill kick is it's a bit of an odd duck, right? It is obviously multi-hitting by itself, not too big a reward other than you might have some slight advantage. If it happens to hit as a counter hit or better, depending on how close you are and like how the angles work out, you might get a follow-up. Like here you see your +5, so that would link in the close heavy punch, but it's not always going to be +5. That time it's +4. Like the numbers can be weird on it sometimes. If it is blocked, also usually not too much a consequence. It can be -4. It can be all sorts of different numbers just depending on the initial angle of the hits. Like there, it's -1. Like it really just depends, honestly. The one weakness I guess you could describe as it is multi-hitting. It is susceptible to being hyper defended against. But once again, depending on the angles, like it can be hard to tell even how many hits it's going to be. It's actually a decent move all in all, and again helps with their aerial offense. And she also has the heavy punch target combos. So how do we do it? Just heavy punch and then either back or forward heavy punch again. And it's just 2 hits. It's invaluable for her combo structure, just for hit confirms. Like you can toss this out here, and if you see the both hits, oh, then I can hit a button, do a special move, go from there. It's actually just great. It's part of what makes her offense very easy to do, and it's just like an all-around fantastic thing for her to have. It's actually lovely. Speaking of lovely, close heavy punch, 5-frame startup, very fast, and just a basic building block of her offense, because if you do that into feint, it is very plus on block, +3, from which, you know, like, if I hit a button, you hit a button, I'm always going to win. And also, it leaves you +7 on hit, meaning goes directly into that heavy punch target combo we just talked about. So it's a backbone of her offense. Like, basically, anytime you're beside the enemy, this is the button you're going to press. There is heavy kick as well, which has its uses. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but generally speaking, like, close heavy punch is just almost always going to be better. So those are some of the obvious hammers. Right now, let's break out stand light punch. Stand light punch is actually jacked up, like for real. So as far as like light attacks go, other than like Tomahawk, which is different because like it's slower and has different properties, right? It's just like the longest regular jab pretty much in the game, just about. It is gigantic. And being a jab, it is also special cancelable naturally. So for basic hit confirms, like it's just very easy for her to do anything, because basically any range, you can always get the 3rd hit in. And from like much more extreme ranges, she can get a 2-hit hit confirm that other characters can't, and still go from there. So it's nice that way. And also, being a light, it's bufferable, right? So I can just do this and say buffer cortical back light punch into it. And if I get a hit, I immediately go into Crazy Ivan, and I get a quick little 2-hit combo. And if it's blocked, it's only -4. Who cares? Like, I'm safe, you know? So you can just do it and toss it out. And here's the beauty, right? So, on counter hit or better, changes the frame data, naturally, as you would expect, right? While it can't go into the regular heavy Hind, it can go into the enhanced Hind. Meaning, if you do this as like a whiff punish, just trying to hit, like trying to catch something, and because it's a light, recovers very quick, it's difficult to whiff punish itself. But if you just toss this out outside of the regular range and you happen to catch something, and you buffer the move in, right? And you catch something and it's a counter hit or better, it'll always connect. Say you toss out a longer range move and I catch it, which, you know, can certainly happen. And then I still get it, because like that move moves so far forward so fast. And from there, like, this stuff kind of writes itself. Like, did I catch you with a quick whiff punish? Like, okay, lose a giant chunk of your life, right? Like, it's just really awesome. Like, huge range for what it is, special cancelable. The fact that just good, the buffer moves into it. If you want to spin that bar, then you can buffer Hind into it and get like good damage if you get a counter hit or better in situations where it can never come out unless you get the hit, which is guaranteed to be a counter hit or a wild punish. Like, just really good. Now, when it comes to pokes, we talked about before, Crazy Ivan, the heavy version, is probably like your best actual poke, but it is a special move. But we also have Crouch Heavy Punch. So Crouch Heavy Punch, let's see here, this is regular heavy punch, this is heavy kick. Crouch Heavy Punch has like basically the most range of your normals. That's not the sweep. The sweep has just a little bit more range than this, but it's a sweep. It is indeed more negative on block versus this guy here. And so if you're looking for a normal poke, this is the button. The thing that's excellent about this is it has a wild punish attached to it. It's very nice and slow. So if you do this here, you can just immediately see it like, oh, and then cancel into Golf Tomahawk. And from there, the stuff writes itself. The cancel window is gigantic. So you can just see it like, oh, then do it and like, then do a special move. Like it is of no consequence. And then you go to like EX Golf Tomahawk, you cancel it with the break, and you just get a jump heavy of your choice. And just do whatever. Or if you're not confident, you can just go into regular enhanced and just like begin a combo from that. Like however you want to do it, really. It's just awesome. So like if you're doing like a shimmy, like, you know, you're threatening a throw, you bait them out, right? They go for the throw tech. There's nothing there. You just walk back and you just toss one of these bad boys out. You get a wild punish. Huge combo opportunities. Good to toss out. Thing to note, just to be honest with you here, it is a bit more negative on block, right? It's -8. But it does have, as you can see here, gigantic pushback on block. So for the most part, for most of the time, it's not going to matter. Some characters, though, with better punishes might be able to stop it. But it is also feint cancelable, and that makes it -2. But if it's -2, and, like, you did get the wild punish, like, it can, like, kind of ruin some of your setups. Like, from there, at that point, you just want to dash in and then go for, like, close heavy punch. You won't get as elaborate of a combo, or depending on how far out, you might have to go for the regular heavy punch, which is still good damage, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying if you're maximizing your opportunities, then you want the wild punish where you can just kind of Golf Tomahawk after. But still, like, sometimes better safe than sorry. Use it as you will. It's up to you, because if you do want to feint cancel it every time, then you're never getting punished for nothing, so you're good. Also, quick to know here, because jumping is a huge part of the character, jump light kick is the cross up. It is always going to be more negative on a regular cross up than a regular jump. Just FYI, like a regular jump, it's basically impossible not to get +5 frames, which will combo into close heavy punch. Like it's almost impossible to do it. Versus the cross up, you want to hit just a bit more deep on a regular jump anyways. Of course, if you catch them crouching, different story entirely, because they're lower, therefore it hits later, therefore more frame advantage. And it's always going to go into close heavy punch. And just another jump note, jumping heavy punch specifically is 2 hits. So, just so you know. Now, real quick here, I do want to talk the Rev Blow. So, she doesn't have amazing defense, right? This is her best defensive move, straight up. So, that's one thing about your SPG placement you should really think about. It is fairly fast startup for what it is. And, you know, Rev Blows are Rev Blows, they're armored, all the usual stuff. They can't be just defended against. So if someone's jumping at you, this stops them dead every time, because it's fast enough to catch them in the air every time before they land. Once again, no just defense is possible. So this is the ultimate like anti-air for her when it's available, but it won't always be available. Now, just some notes for Jenet on defense, just real quick. We mentioned a couple of these, but just in case you're skipping forward. 1, Hind is air invulnerable. It is not ground invulnerable. It is not a dragon punch style move. But when someone's jumping, this will always be invulnerable to the jump attack. So if someone's jumping a lot, light kick version of Hind is usually going to be your go-to. Heavy works, but they'll usually land because it has much slower startup. If you're on the ball, of course, there is the enhanced version, which, you know, it'll scale if you do it this way, but you can get some damage from it. And of course, there is the universal dodge attack, which also will work. It's not perfect because, once again, this isn't an uppercut, but it is there, and just like before, it's special cancelable, so you can always get a little bit out of it. That's nice. And of course, the SPG is the ultimate answer to jumps, because it's armored. You cannot just defend. There's no option selects or whatever. If you catch them jumping, they're dead. You got them dead to rights, 100%. So it's very valuable in that way. On top of fairly fast startup as well. It is very, very safe on block as well. Like, they block it, safe for whatever reason. -3 with pushback, who cares? Not a big deal. Like, she doesn't have amazing defense, but this is where, in her SPG, she becomes a wall. Because she has her best defensive option by a mile right here. No jumping allowed, no pressure allowed, completely safe on block. Like, if you feel even the least bit threatened, this is what you want. But there is more advanced stuff. That's what I want to talk about. And one of the things about the game, because it does operate under most 2D fighting game rules, is backdashes are throw immune. Okay, but once again, she can do stuff off her backdash, right? She's actually one of the most equipped characters in the game to do something off a backdash. So in situations where you smell a throw happening, on top of backdashing, you can easily turn that backdash into your offense. So situations where you smell a throw, you can backdash and immediately go for the dive kick. and then turn that into an advantageous situation. Now, of course, it could happen that like they didn't do anything and they're just like down backing or something, and you do it and then nothing happened. And depending on the randomness of the dive kick, it could be punishable, it might not be. It's that way, but you can also go into enhanced Harrier, right? So from here, that's a lot more valuable. So say they do nothing and they block, right? Due to the nature of the move, it's almost always going to be some kind of advantage frames. So that's really nice. And if they do get hit, then all of a sudden, you know, you can get a small combo, or if you want to dump some bar, that's an option as well. Like there's options available to you, right? So this almost is like more like a Street Fighter 6 style defensive option select, to be honest with you. But still, if you feared the throw, backdash, from there, cancel into dive kick, cancel into enhanced Harrier. She has amazing options off of backdash. So the basic backdash to defend yourself from a throw or Jenny is actually way better than most other characters can ever dream to get, because she can immediately turn those like invincibility frames for the grab into baked offense out of the gate. So keep that in mind. Like, her defense is very conditional. There's no one button stop all invincible uppercut style move, but in the particular spaces she's allowed to work with, she actually has cool options. So now, just to talk some of the basic building blocks of pressure, right? You're looking to make the opponent crack, and close heavy punch has to be one of them. Like, this is like the party starter. This into feint is +3 on block, which means any buttons they press after the fact, they're gonna lose. If it hits, great, fantastic even. It goes into a combo. Keep in mind, that combo, 7 frame startup on stand heavy punch, right? So if they block it near +3, that means any button they press is also going to lose to that exact same heavy punch target combo. So no matter what, like, this is already a very desirable follow-up. From there, of course, there's a lot of options, right? Like, okay, we did this. Okay, what's happening? If you got hit, great. Just go into a hit confirm, do whatever you're going to do from there. You can go for your enhanced projectile because that has the vacuum effect, which brings them in. So as long as you don't hit a button immediately, just wait a split second, you can throw them. That's good. Her throw stuff is fantastic because you just double dash afterwards. You're +7 in their face, close heavy punch range. If you're looking to be a bit sassy in this exact scenario, you can go for Golf Tomahawk, break it, and then the heavy version will always be a cross up. Yes, left right stuff can be rev guarded against, but they gotta know, and say they do know. They're rev guarding or whatever, right? Sure, great, thanks. I'm gonna do light kick version, empty jump, throw you instead, or go for empty jump below, or like whatever. Like, it's very easy, and this is one scenario, but it's very easy to string a lot of her offense together because Golf Tomahawk is a special move, so you can do it off of block strings. Her most basic block string is both the, you know, frame trap and the combo starter. You can almost autopilot to the point where, like, you can just do that and it'll sort of work itself out, because if they hit a not invincible button, you win. And if it hit to begin with, you win because it's a natural combo. Like, to the point where you gotta stop yourself. Like, sometimes you just gotta let things happen and just see what goes from there, right? But it's very easy to autopilot in a very effective way. And a lot of the same logic also works just for, like, you know, lights, because like she can just bring you back in with the X projectile and just go for a throw, go for strike as well, because she's plus, and a way you can't hit buttons back against. And of course, when you bring them in, they're scared of the throw. That's when you shimmy them. You go crouch heavy punch, has the wild punch attached to it. You get 1,000,000 damage, and you don't got to do even the fancy block string. Like, you can just go in, right? Raw Golf Tomahawk has more range than dash jump. It is effectively a super jump. And once again, your enhanced version that you break is a faster jump attack than your actual hop. It's lower to the ground and faster. So if you're just looking for a quick way in, Jenny always has a way in. It can be obvious sometimes to your detriment. You don't always want to keep doing it, especially against people who can just like uppercut you on demand, right? But it's just a way that like you can always keep the offense flowing. Also very good against autopilot defense, because one of those things about that EX projectile is it takes you out of the corner, right? So if you do the enhanced version, you can immediately rev excel cancel that into the enhanced Golf Tomahawk, and you can steal the corner from the enemy and force them into a cross-up situation. Yes, once again, rev guard, blocks left, right, but that's gonna catch people a lot on the first try. Like, if they're just crouch blocking, and if you're going for like crouch lows, they're gonna crouch block because there's very little incentive to stand in this scenario until they see a jump, right? And by the time they react, then they already stood, you've already stolen the corner. So then they have to block the other way. Admittedly, that's a bit more gimmicky, but like it's very, very effective. In that scenario, say they do block it, and then it still leaves all the same pressure. Like, I'm super plus, you gotta deal with, like, you know, guest strike throw, maybe I'll do an empty jump, and like all that stuff still applies. It's all terrifying. And add to that, if you're just looking for on-demand pressure, the regular version of Hind, if you break it, is always +1 in throw range. Now, the thing is, the break point is a big tell. Like, if you're too obvious with it, they can hyper defend it, because it's always has to be the second hit. And if they hyper defend it, they can go right to a special move on guard canceling that might punish you. Like, don't rely on this as a crutch unless they don't ever hyper defend. If they don't ever hyper defend, then by all means, this is the easiest crutch in the game, right? Because it's exactly perfect strike throw distance. Like, go nuts. But yeah, so the building blocks of offense, the basic offense on Jenet are very easy because they always let you just go. And keep in mind in situations where you knock the enemy down, but especially like a non-hard knockdown situation, so they have an option to roll. Just the safest thing is just go for light baffles. So if you get that knockdown, you just like walk back a step, just do it, and just see what happens. Generally, like backdash, you do it. Any kind of forward roll, you're going to catch them with a good advantage frame, especially if they try to do a far forward roll. Then it's going to be basically like a combo for you because that will all connect. And if it's mid-screen and they back roll, like whatever, like that's what happens when you get a non-hard knockdown. It's price of business. It's very active. So on most knockdowns that are not hard knockdowns, without the setups we'll talk about later, just toss this out and just try to catch him waking up with it, and it will mostly sort itself out. So next, we're going to talk about a safe jump setup, where basically I'm going to knock you down, and I'm going to jump at you, and you won't be able to do that wake up reversal. You can try, but if you do, I'll be able to block in time. And if you do nothing, I'll be able to hit you. That's the magic. And in this specific scenario, it's off of EX counter, EX rump. It has just the right amount of frame data to make a safe jump possible. Now, specifically, this will be in the corner or going nearer to the corner because you need to be able to land a full jump, because normally it knocks you just a little too far away to be able to get anything on it. So corner it is. But here's the thing. There's a lot of different ways we can go about this. Like, say if you're looking to minimize the amount of meter you're spending, you can just end a combo like that because it's always going to be a hard knockdown. I wait for him to fall a little bit so we can get the right frames. So normally on a grounded foe, this is plus 63. If you hit them when they're a little bit higher up, it'll change the frame data. And I see plus 64, right? So we want them lower to the ground. So it's the same frame data when we do it. Another way to do this, and you're going to find it's going to be very achievable off her combo structure, due to how her combo structure works. You can basically end a combo like that and get the exact right frames. And it has incredible corner carry. And so what do we do after we get that knockdown? It's actually dirt simple. Dirt simple. You hit him with the EX rump. You whiff a jab. You jump, heavy kick. Done. Like, actually. So on a regular hit here, on a regular foe, cool. Great. Goes over and do the combo starter you want. Say they wake up with a reversal, though. Nah, we get the block in time. Literally that simple. Because this is what we call a frame kill. It's auto-timed. There's nothing they can do. If they wake up with a reversal, for everyone but Hotaru, because Hotaru has the fastest reversal in the game, and she's in a privileged class, but for everyone else in the game, any wake-up reversal, you blow right past it. So basically, you do this, and you can basically just do the combo you're going to do, but hold back while doing it. And if they reversed, you got the block in time. Okay. And if they didn't, cool, autopilot into your usual pressure. So safe jumps are always amazing. And the fact that she can mostly set this up from like just about past mid-screen because her combo carries so long on her combos, that's actually invaluable. And of course, they do get the block. That's an option. Most players don't choose the block though, right? But if they choose the block, oh well, whatever. You just do the usual pressure from there. But yeah, so against people who are very reversal happy, this safe jump will blow up all of it, unless it's Hotaru. So more quick pressure stuff here when they're knocked down. We talked about the safe jump off of EX butt attack. If you also go for a heavy golf tomahawk immediately afterwards, just let it rock, nothing else, you're immediately just +4 directly on top of the enemy. So that, you know, kind of writes itself, because you just do whatever pressure, like mash, close heavy punch, you'll always win because you're +4. It's a 5-frame move when you're +4. Math works out there, right? No safe jump, you know, they mash a reversal, maybe you'll get hit, but that works mid-screen, whereas the safe jump setup only works in the corner. Also, the basic throw, very easy. Hold rev button, hold forward, double dash, you're +7 in their face. Once again here, close heavy punch writes itself. In fact, you can get it to hit meaty, like hit later in the active frames. So like autopilot writes itself, go and feint, do the usual thing. Also, if there wasn't throw protection in this game, this would lead to like a Street Fighter style throw loop. So if you want to throw them, just wait a split second, then throw them again for the throw protection to go away. So if they don't immediately react, another throw is on the table, including you walking backwards and like punishing their throw tech attempt for a shimmy. So that knockdown pressure is very valuable off the basic throw. Also on the throw note, so we already talked about throw being strong mid-screen. So in the corner though, we can get a very specific setup with a frame kill. All we gotta do is whiff stand heavy kick, and it'll give us enough time to do that into our dodge attack, and then hit the dodge attack in the meaty frames. You see, you're +6. Normally, this is +3. Nothing's comboing off +3. +6 though can go into heavy punch. So once again, do this forward throw in the corner, whiff a stand heavy kick for timing, then go for your dodge attack universal overhead, and then from there, it all combos, it all works out. And the note as well here, because it also will change the advantage on block. Normally this is -2, which isn't the worst considering, you know, it's an overhead, right? And if you do this here with the right timing, when it's getting meaty, now it's +1. So it's already valuable and strong in the corner, and this adds an extra layer. Now, of course, don't always go for the overhead. Like, that'll get a little obvious after a while. Of course, naturally, you can just dash forward and go for lows as well. So it's not always going to be the overhead, or you can just dash forward, go for a throw. Don't make it obvious, but it's an interesting frame kill. Now, when it comes to Jenet and combos, one thing to note just out of the gate, if someone whiffs the big reversal, that means the next hit's a guaranteed counter hit. For her specifically, that into a feint makes it +12. You have just enough time to dash forward and get another close heavy, and then get another feint from it, and then go into the usual combo structure. So the combo structure, you skipped everything to this point. Close heavy, feint, heavy punch, target combo. That's 90% of it, unless you're going for lights, which is usually going to be light, light, stand jab into whatever special cancel. Also keep in mind, close light kick is +5 on hit, and will link into close heavy punch, and will lead into the combo structure as well, but you have to be directly touching the enemy. If you're even like a pixel away, none of that's going to work. So the heavy combo routing is generally the most important combo routing. So what's the basics of that? So the most important thing out of the gate is it'll connect to heavy hind, and heavy hind is break cancelable, and then you get your juggle, and that's where the party can start in a lot of ways. So let me give you an example of a mild on the rev basic combo example. So you may notice I ended with the light version of Hind, because it will juggle. So I'm just looking for more damage at that point. They'll be able to roll after knockdown. She's pretty good at shutting down rolls thanks to light baffles. But if you just want the true hard knockdown, at that point, just do EX Hind, leave it from there, because that way they can't roll out. If you're just looking for maximum damage, then you go for that. Or another thing you can do in that scenario, just go for EX butt slam, the counter. So that'll give you more damage and also give you the hard knockdown. The thing is, you're spending a lot more rev at that point, but it'll also give you the safe jump setup we mentioned earlier in the video. So basically, you do light hind for damage, but not spending more meter. You'll do enhanced counter for a bit more damage and a better knockdown, but you're burning a lot of your rev gauge, or you just leave it at the hind and just go from there. And in that scenario here, if we're just kind of looking to cash out, you absolutely can get a level 1 super after the fact, and then you get a pretty good chunk of damage, right? And that also, the super gives you a hard knockdown as well. A thing to note about this, though, in the combo structure, because if you just go for Harrier right away, mash right away, you're usually gonna miss a hit. If you want guaranteed stuff and you don't want to mess around too much, go for it, right? If you delay the Harrier ever so slightly, though, after that last hit, then that's generally when you're going to get all 4 hits. So if you're looking just to get the maximum amount of damage, that's the way to go for it. It introduces an element of timing, which can mess up your combo routing. If you just want it to be easy, just smash it out as fast as possible, and you'll always get, you might miss a hit, but you're going to get the important hits that launch up. That's all that really matters in the end. But if you just want to introduce a small element of timing into it, rev cancel on the last possible moment, and then don't attack right away from the Harrier. Just let it fall a little bit, and then you'll be able to get every hit. So that's a standard conservative combo that can lead to a very powerful knockdown. But what if we get our hit, right? And like, okay, you know what? I want to cash out. Well, then we change up the routing just a little bit. So now if we're looking to front load some damage, we're going to hit with some of the heavier hits earlier on. Ideally, the best hit to hit earlier on would be enhanced counter. The problem is it might not always reach. It does like the most damage of all your moves, but the problem is from a lot of ranges, it just might not connect. The thing that you can rely on, though, is enhanced Golf Tomahawk. Now, we mentioned this earlier in the video about a potential issue in that the first hit completely whiffs on crouchers, but here's where we don't got to worry. Stand Heavy Punch forces standing on the enemy. So if they get hit by Crouch Heavy Punch at all, they will be standing for the duration of the combo. Therefore, it's a non-issue. So basically, the ender is going to be kind of the same, but if we're dumping bar and going for max damage, we're going to be looking at something like this. So there we go. Our rev gauge is substantially higher, but we got, a good amount of damage in. And then, of course, corner. The corner changes a lot of things about how our structure works, because it's a very simple thing, but it can add a lot. The regular Hind and break can now juggle into light baffles, and it'll hold the enemy in place while they're in the corner. So now if we're in the corner, we can change our whole combo structure and also just add a lot of meter if we're looking to add some meter. So let me give you an example here, which also helps because we're going to lead off with the EX counter to help maximize our damage. So there we go. That is not some magical Christmas land scenario, right? We didn't even get a rev gauge above 50% from starting from 0. And that's almost 500, and that we only did level 1, right? That's very practical. That's very reasonable. Our combo structure is very malleable in that way that you can really change up the routing and get the important moves earlier on for damage scaling. And that's great. So she can get some really big hits in early on. So now, let's say we are in that magical Christmas land scenario. This is not necessarily going to be a combo you're going to do every match, right? But we're going to be putting all the parts we talked about together. So on top of what we're already doing, we're going to make sure we're going to do Hind break. So we can go into EX baffles, which normally, due to combo scaling, we're not going to use, but we're just dumping bar, right? So we can do this break, then this, into this, into this, and let that rock without the break. And well, basically, let's put it all together here. And yeah, so this is gonna hurt, right? And I'm sure if you optimize a bit more, you get a little bit of damage. But as long as we get some rev discounts in, like something like this is very possible for, you know, very sizable damage. This is something you can really do in a match. And that's where we're at with Jenny. So very, you know, rush down oriented, offense oriented character, but with some very blessed ways to deal offense in weird ways that are not afforded to the rest of the cast. Yeah, the fact that they did give her stuff like a projectile to work with. Maybe it's not best in class, but it's certainly nice. The enhanced version is extra tricky because it works with her very offensive base game because it brings you in with advantage frames. So there's no escape against her pressing buttons after the fact. That's nice. She's just kind of textbook, you know, offense 101, run you over 101. It's not that like the high-low game's amazing. It's just the fact that she gets better effective jumps than people, better jump options than other people because she can do so much in the air. The fact that she can do stuff off a backdash. Like EX Harrier, right? It's free plus frames on block. And say it actually connects. Maybe it's not going to be the most damage in the world because it's going to scale a bit, but like it'll hurt. She has a very powerful basic throw, as we talked about in other sections of the video. So her basic strike throw game is good, which is a lot of what she's going to be working with. And maybe she's not the queen of the normals, you know, queen of full screen or whatever, but she's here to get in your face and attack. And she's exceptional at that, given the fact that she has, like, you know, the highly blessed stand jab, which is great for combo structure, great for just general pressure, great for whiff punishes, as we talked about. We got baby's first combo structure because double heavy target combo makes everything so easy on you on like your mental stack to see things, visually hit confirm. Oh, do we get the hit? Go to combo. Do we get to a block? Let's go for XYZ gimmick. Like, she's complex in a way, but the tool she has is also actually quite forgiving. So when you're just looking to attack, go, like she has pretty much everything you could hope for, except for, I guess, like she could have a better base overhead. This isn't the worst in the game or anything, but like she's strike throw. That's what she's meant to be, right? Not overhead low. Although, once again, you will catch people with random overheads off just Golf Tomahawk breaks that you probably shouldn't deserve, so that's a bonus. She's straightforward and easy, and I think that's great for the kind of character she's trying to be. She's not like a technical lord. She's not going to break your fingers on the combos. If you're just looking for something simple and effective, I think Jenny is exactly that. And I think you'll have a lot of fun with her. That said now, longer video to be sure. If you got this far, please leave a like. It really, truly, honestly helps the video. But now that we're at the end, well, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Fatal Fury.